In today's video, we are going to go through some wrist strengthening and flexibility exercises that are not only very useful for Aikido, but also for anyone that might be doing anything that's repetitive. So working on a computer, using a mouse, anything that involves repetitive use of the hands and wrists. We'll show you some strengthening exercises, some flexibility exercises, and stay till the end of the clip because we're going to gradually build you up until you can do press-ups on the backs of your hands to really add strength. I'm Duncan Francis from the beautiful Aikido Silverdale dojo here in New Zealand. If you haven't already done so, smash that subscribe button and click the little bell thing by the side of it so you don't miss any future uploads. Enjoy the video. So the first one in the way of Nikyo, the fingers stacked up, the same shape as you would have if the technique was being applied to you. This is the version I use most of the time because my wrists are fairly solid. My thumb underneath the thumb, my little finger and the little finger, and down my own center line. And I just drop my elbow through into my center to apply it. Now this is okay, but this one probably gives you a better feel for the actual technique. If you're holding it with the little finger under the thumb and your thumb on top of the little finger, and then drop your elbows to your center and just rock your hips back to apply it. Don't squeeze and use your shoulders because that's a real bad habit. And then as you cut this through towards your own center, you should feel the wrist slack going, then taking up the slacking to the elbow, then connecting to the shoulder and eventually through to the spine. And then you can feel it not only going on the wrist, but you can feel it taking your posture. Now it's a good way to experiment with the technique. If I was putting Nikyo on someone, I could either cut it through to myself if you like. So if I was uke, this would be taking me forwards into my feet, taking my balance forwards. I could cut it through more aggressively back into my partner, which would make them collapse slightly backwards or down into the ground. And there's also variations where I can cut this through and I can affect the elbow and I can bring it through and I can move myself off the line. So don't just use this as an exercise, use this as a way of examining the mechanics of the technique that you will be applying. Learn about it from yourself, find out how your own body movement is going to work when this is being received, but also learn about the technique. Kote gaeshi. Palm towards you, your thumb goes just below the knuckle on the little finger and the ring finger. Your hand takes the base of the thumb, twist it towards your center and let it drop. Go as far as you can before it gets too uncomfortable, and I think the current thinking is it's better to keep a stretch on for a while rather than just reapplying it. Now if you want to experiment with this as far as how the mechanics of the technique work, just try moving it out to one side and applying it, and you'll find that if you curl it into yourself, curl your hand into the arm, nothing happens. It's got to be going over the space of the elbow. Now I'm still not really losing my balance, but the minute this goes past my elbow goes past my hip, then it hooks up, starts to move my lower back and my balance breaks. So just by doing this exercise, I'm teaching myself something about the nature or the heart of Kote gaeshi. Sankyo. Over the top, take the little finger, extend the thumb away from you, the little finger towards you. Try and keep it in the center as always. I'm using this arm right close to my hip, so I'm not using my arms as an isolated limb. I'm using my whole body to put this on. And then for me, because my wrists are fairly solid, I'm going to extend out into it. So part of the technique is going on with me extending the arm that's being applied rather than me trying to crank it up and affecting my own balance and posture. Keep this extended and try and make it so you can feel the tikatana connect up to the top of the elbow and to the top of the shoulder. And then you can feel the mechanics of the technique working, and hopefully once you get a bit proficient at this, you'll feel it going right the way through the spine to the opposite hip. One of the things about Sankyo is that you can use it to take someone's other arm away. So if this is being applied and they're trying to make a counter strike, this will pop that shoulder back out the way. It's very useful. So the inside of the arm stretch, palm up, and just bend your fingers back towards your center. Now don't just stretch your fingers. What you want to be doing is feeling the inside of your arm, the inside of your elbow up to the front of your shoulder, extending and stretching out. Very, very nice stretch, especially if you're doing something like working on a computer or using a mouse all day. It's a lovely way of loosening up all those ligaments and tendons inside. And again, don't just bend the fingers back, stretch through the arm, push the elbow up into it and extend your arm through the stretch. So the last of our regular stretches, one hand goes on top of the other hand and you're curling it underneath. So we're stretching the outside of the hand across the top of the wrist. We affectionately call this katatsumuri, which I think means snail in Japanese, because the hand curls around like a little snail shell. So around here, keep it down, obviously keep it low, curl it underneath, and then just drop the weight of the elbow in and stretch the back of the wrist out. So it's similar to the Nikyo, but it's much more linear. It goes down the arm rather than having that inside rotation. So this last one, the press-ups on the backs of the hand. This was a classic Aikido exercise when I first started back in the 70s as a kid. It doesn't seem to be practiced so much nowadays, so just be careful with it. Once you build a bit of strength and flexibility in your wrists, get stuck into this because it's definitely a good exercise. So position your hands, fingers together, take the weight on the end of your forearm, on the point of your wrists for now, then you can gradually ease your weight across into your hands. So from here, nice stiff body, easing down, and then the weight goes through nice and easy. Now you can change these around. I've got students who can do it this way around. I've even seen people do that. I can't do either of those, I'm afraid. I'm old and my wrists aren't that flexible. This one's not too bad. Pointing away. And again, you've just got to get the position of your arm and the weight going through your wrists, and then you can gradually roll it across and really get a nice deep stretch. I hope they've been useful. Have fun.